All right. Hey. Everybody knows what time it is. It's time for a look around the Confederation. What's going on, everybody out there? Hey, we got a good show tonight. First and foremost, we're going to read this part. The views and opinions expressed on this broadcast are not those of the SCV, its GEC, nor any divisions, brigades, camps, or other subsidiaries. So, good evening, everybody. Hello, welcome. Moose and I are happy to be here, and
I haven't even
Moose has got us prepared for a good show. I see we got a lot of our normal guys on there. Vinny, that's not a pajama. These are not pajamas. That is a shirt, buddy. It is a shirt.
Those are some good nice pajamas. If so, they're nicer than my pajamas. My pajamas
are wearing pajamas. Pajamas. Hey, before we get started, I'm going to take a little bit of time here, editorial. Something I want to talk about. It's pretty serious. Everybody knows what's going on right now in Afghanistan. We've all been watching on the news. We're all depressed about it, especially my brothers that went to Afghanistan, my brothers' ancestors that went to Afghanistan. I myself am an Iraq vet. I did 3 tours in Iraq. I never made it to Afghanistan. I did 17 years in the military. I was medically retired at my 17th year. But I'm going to tell you, my heart hurts for my Afghanistan brothers and sisters. Watching what happened and watching the epic failure of leadership out of the White House is disgusting. It's maddening. You should feel an extreme bit of anger towards our politicians for what they have done to us. They let us down in 1975, and they have again let us down in 2021. And it's something that continues to happen to this day because of the spineless cowards that we have working in D.C. And that goes to all of them, Republicans, Democrats. I'm talking every one of you. You're all garbage. Every single one of you are garbage. Guys, I'm telling you, Afghanistan veterans, it was not for nothing. It was for your brothers and sisters that were beside you. It was to get you home. Thousands of us were left on that battlefield and didn't get to make it back. Many have folded flags and 21 gun salutes that we've all gone through. It's hard to watch. It's hard to be a part of the veteran community right now, but we are there for each other. We're here to listen. If you need to talk to me, I'm always here. I'll talk to any of you veterans that have been over there. Afghanistan, and we went into those countries without any way to get out. There was no plan that's right. Blame the suits, not the boots. George Connor Bond is absolutely right. Again, I love you guys more than you know. The veteran community to me is where I go to vent. It's where I feel safe. It's where I have many friends that I love and care for. I talked to many of my guys that I still went to Iraq with, and I love all of you. Do not think that you did this for nothing. Those years that you spent over there were for your brothers and sisters, and they were to imagine how many terrorists we took off the battlefield, how many we stopped from coming over here and flying another plane into a building. In a couple of weeks, we celebrate the 20th anniversary of the towers falling in New York City. And I'm going to tell you, September 11th for a lot of us was a day that absolutely changed our lives. I know it changed mine dramatically. My whole plan was out the window that day. And I will never, ever turn my back on a veteran that needs help for anything. I want you to know that I love you guys. I'm here for you. My heart hurts for the Afghanistan brothers and sisters that were over there. And remember, it was not for naught. So I just wanted to take that quick moment and let you guys know it's been a rough week. A bunch of us have talked. I know my phone has rang a couple times, and I've picked up, and we've talked about what's going on over there. But I want you to know that I love you, and thank you for letting me say that for those 5 minutes. Without further ado, we'll get into some news that's going on, some current events. Moose, what do we got on tap today?
We got 2 great stories coming from across Confederation. First one is in Virginia with our good friend of Look Around the Confederation, the always reliable whenever we need news, Mr. Ricky.
Yeah, so Ricky sent us in. He was contacted by the young man in the picture's grandmother, and she asked him to meet and discuss some Confederate history with him. They met at excuse me, I ate a little while ago. I had a little bit of indigestion. I apologize for that. They met at Green Hill Cemetery in Danville, where there are over 300 Confederates buried. He's 11 years old, and he was interested in his Confederate ancestors. Ricky took some time to talk with him, discuss. They had a 2-hour discussion. He showed him some Confederate graves, explained the Southern Cross of Honor, and he presented him with 5 flags and the North Carolina Republic flag because the young man lives in North Carolina. He printed him a cadet form, gave him the information of some local camps in his area. So hopefully this young man will eventually become a cadet. And listen, if you have a son under the age of 11, you can sign him up for the cadet program. The cadet program is only $10. It's $10. It's a flat rate. $10 that covers him from that time all the way to his 12th birthday. When he becomes 12 years old, he becomes a full member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. For $35 more, he becomes a full veteran, full voting member. Yeah, Moose, what's up, buddy?
Oh, well, I just want to say I wanted to stress the importance of the cadet program real quick because it's something that my camp pushes a lot, and we're just going to take that away. It's something my camp push a lot. I was a cadet. I think I was cadet. Me and Matt figured this out when I did credentials with him one time. I was cadet number 12, I think.
Yeah,
I was one of the very first ones, and so I take great pride in the cadet program, and I think it's one of the reasons I stayed in the SCV.
It is a great program. It's something that you can. It helps you get that younger generation involved in camp activities. It shows them what the SCV is really about. I highly recommend, like I said, if you have a young son, get him involved. Get him involved with your camp. If you're in a camp, get your family involved. That's how camps continue to grow. So what is our next story? Mr. Ricky, thank you so much for doing that. You're one of the ones that sends us in the most stories. We love getting stories from you. And remember, if you got stories, send them to Moose.
scvyouthoutreach@gmail.com, and you'll be featured on the upcoming episode of SCV Chat. And, of course, if you have any projects you want to talk about, please let us know as well, as we love having people on, as we will have a great guest on tonight.
Awesome.
Also in the news.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, let's go. Chief is not amused with Moose going back to his office.
I will be moving out of the bed for the next episode and officially will be in my office until December-ish for episodes. So I do not want to hear any more bed talk if I'm selling my bed. I have actually – oh, by the way, thank you, Cousin Vinny. Because now Cousin Vinny has got people texting me, asking me if I am selling the bed. It's not my bed. This is my aunt's bed at the guest house in my hometown where my grandparents and my father live when I come and stay for summer. So, no.
That's awesome. So we got one more.
We got one more news.
Cover, right?
You got some things you wanted to talk about.
Okay. Yes. The William T. Anderson Camp in Missouri. That's right. Daryl Maples just said it right for you. Missouri conducted a memorial service on the 8th of August, at the Forest Llewellyn Cemetery in Kirksville, Missouri. The service was to remember the battle that took place in Kirksville, 6 August 1862, where 1,000 well-equipped Union troops made up of infantry, cavalry, and a battery of artillery attacked 2,500 Confederate States Army troops, consisting of 500 well-armed troops, 500 recruits that were armed with weapons they had brought from home, and the rest were unarmed. The rest gathered were unarmed and untrained recruits. The memorial service consisted of the remembrance of 26 Confederate soldiers buried in the mass grave in the Forest Llewellyn Cemetery that were killed the day of the battle, and the 17 Confederate POWs that were court-martialed and executed on the 9th of August for violation of parole and loyalty oath. The final part of the memorial service was dedicated to CSA Lieutenant Colonel Frisbee McCullough, who was tried and sentenced to death as a bushwhacker, even though he was captured. So thank you, guys. We appreciate that. William T. Anderson, Camp 1743. We appreciate you sending in that story. Thank you very, very much. It's always good to see our Missouri folks getting out there doing the thing for the cause, and we appreciate it. So remember, keep sending in those stories. Oh, I got one more thing to cover. My boss and your national membership director, that's right, Eric Prevetti, the national membership director, is doing a Zoom class every Wednesday at 4 o'clock. He's going to be conducting adjutant training. This is good for you if you are a commander, an adjutant, a lieutenant commander. If you're an officer in the camp, I highly recommend that you check out this class. Adjutant training will consist of, we're going to talk about when dues are due. By the way, speaking of when dues are due, if your dues are not in yet, you need to get them into headquarters. They must be postmarked by August 31st, 2021. Again, that's August 31st, 2021. If they are not postmarked, if they are postmarked after that date, you will be charged a $5 late fee for each member. So do not do that. Get those dues in. I'm processing dues as fast as I can. Me and the guys in membership are getting them done as quick, as fast as possible. If you have an email address in the system, your receipt for your camp will be emailed to you. This cuts down on us saving on postage, and that's the best way to do it, but we'll be emailing those out to you. So they're going to discuss, again, that class is going to consist of when dues are due, the use of Salesforce, and they're going to show you how to download rosters, update your member information, pay dues online, use the community chat and forum, and go over commonly used forms by the SCV. And then finally, he will answer questions for you. So again, you can contact him and sign up for the class. It's scrolling across the bottom. That's at membership@scv.org. So your email address is membership@scv.org. Contact Eric. He will get you scheduled for the class. Trust me, you need to go to this so you can learn how to use this program that we use. This is the best way to get in contact with headquarters. This is an excellent opportunity to meet the membership director, and he will answer your questions directly. So again, contact him at membership@scv.org, and we will get you scheduled for a class in the upcoming future. They're going to be at Wednesdays at 4. They're going to be on Zoom. Eric's got a great setup to do this. I've seen it a couple of times. He was doing them last year. So again, I highly stress this. If you're an officer of the camp, please reach out and get into this class. This will be good for you. And if you're watching the chat, I expect you chat heads to sign up for this class so you can get out there and learn how to do these things. All right. GCB, what's up, buddy?
Hey, everybody, buy a t-shirt. You got a little less than a month. Before our Bedford Forest fundraising special edition Let's Bring Him Home t-shirts are done. Moose, stop scowling. You have been scowling this entire show. Anyway, Shirts are beautiful shirts. They're from our sponsor, Victory Flags and More. If you need to get a link to the t-shirts after this episode, they're on. If you go on our page, you'll find them. Or go to victoryflagsandmore.com and watch that or get that. One thing I wanted to mention really quickly. Pull it down.
Why do you have the Stones River thing scrolling across the bottom? I haven't even got to that yet.
Yeah.
I meant to click this one.
So yeah, let's we're looking for an intern who is interested in producing a show on Facebook.
We are not looking for an intern. I love Moose. Moose will always be the producer on Look Around the Confederation.
I'm not saying that we get rid of Moose. I'm just saying we get somebody who can help him out. On some of this, you put up the wrong banner, bud. But hey, you're not scaling anymore.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, love you, buddy. Love you. If I didn't pick on you, I'd probably still pick on you. But yeah,
you just missed your story, Mr. Ricky.
But anyway, get those shirts in. We're coming down to the wire on those. We're not going to be ordering any more stick-ons. So once they're sold, they're sold. Can't help you if you want one. The other thing that I wanted to mention really quickly is if you did not catch SCV Chat Monday night or any of our past episodes of SCV Chat or Look Around the Confederation, remember you can go back on our Facebook page and re-watch our past videos. Definitely go watch that episode with the Kennedy twins or any episode we've had the Kennedy twins on. It was fantastic. One of our better episodes we've ever done. Finally, this upcoming Monday, we are entering the first week, or the last week, I guess that's the correct way to say it, of our new monthly lineup. The first Monday of the month, we do a history topic. Second Monday of the month, we do a culture topic. Third Monday of the month, we do a book review, which, fun fact, and remember, we're doing Bust Hell Wide Open by Sandy Mitchum for next month. Available on Audible. Go listen to it or get a copy if you like to read it. Final episode of the month is our Hearth and Home episode, which is dedicated to the museum and headquarters. And Matt and Adam will be on to discuss a certain historical artifact that has not been made known to us yet. So if you want to find out what historical artifact they will be talking about up yonders that we have at headquarters, tune in Mondays at 7.
That's right. Yay. Mondays at 7. What goes on Mondays at 7? GCB?
That's SCV. That's SCV Chat.
That's
every
right.
Monday and Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. But, if somebody asks you what time it is, that's not necessarily what they're always asking about. Little inside
what time
joke.
is it?
Yeah.
Inside joke.
Little inside joke. But anyways, I'm about to turn into witness protection here. And if anybody's interested in applying for the position with Victory Flags and More, I know we had one guy email over. I've not been able to send that. I don't think I've sent the copy of the job description over yet. But if you're interested in that marketing position, email us and we're going to shoot it over to you as soon as I can sit down behind my computer and not have to deal with Karens and their prancing, peevish poodles.
Peevish poodles.
Yes.
You have an interesting job, GCB. A very interesting job.
I really do. You notice it's the first Thursday in like 3 weeks I've been at the house.
That's true. Well, we're glad to have you on. I appreciate you coming on and plugging the shirts and the SCB chat, and we look forward to it every week. Oh, okay.
Hey, just like that.
GCB.
Bye. Bully.
Bye, GCB. So, without further ado, hey, did you get that private message I sent you?
Yes, it's loading right now. So
Okay,
maybe
good.
talk about this,
Let's talk about what?
chathead.
Oh yeah, the chat head gathering. Chat head gathering. So I've got it narrowed down to 2 places now. It's either going to be at Puckett's or at Catfish Campus. I'm kind of leaning towards Catfish Campus. They got a bigger area, I think, that we can get into. So that's going to be Friday night of the reinterment. So that is Friday the
17th.
17th.
But
Friday the 17th.
If I have a vote, this Puckett's where you took me and Moose up there when
Yes.
we went up there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. If we don't do that on Friday night, we'll talk later.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I'm going away now.
All right. So let's get into what we're going into. I want to bring on our special guest tonight. I'm excited to bring this guy on. Christian Lee out of Texas, San Antonio, I believe, if I'm right. Yeah, San Antonio. Bring on Christian Lee, man. Let's get him on there. Hey, Christian, man, it's good to see you. Alamo City Guards. That's it, Alamo City Guards.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm a big fan. You've been hyping me up so much. You gotta lay off. That's a hard shoe. Like big shoes to fill.
Well, we're super happy to have you on. Recently, I saw a Facebook post, man, and I'm going to get right into it. Recently, I saw a Facebook post where there was a protest going on in your area, and you guys were down there. And tell us what that was all about, man.
Okay. What happened was we got a email from our chief of staff. He says, "Hey, this is going on. We would like to be in full force, so come on out." There's a Pro 2A group that was out there, and they're big defenders of anything Texas history. So they were out there supporting the SCV. I saw a lot of people out there, and a lot of good people. The crazy thing is, you had the groups that were in opposition to preserving the monument. And they were very loud and boisterous. A lot of the things that they were saying were kind of redundant and ended up refuting themselves a lot of the time. So they want to take down a monument that was put up in 1916. So this is when everything is going down with the Kaiser, right? And you got World War I. So they want all these guys that are in the area to enlist. So what do? You go to your grandpa, you honor their grandpa, you honor their dad, who are likely Confederate veterans, and that would engender literally patriotism. Like I'm going to go and fight tyranny, just like my grandpa did, just like my great grandpa did. So literally that's why they put this up, and the de-Confederate people, they want to take it down, right? So I kind of went in casual. I wanted to be able to go to both sides and see what I could find out. I didn't want them to feel threatened by me being there. Of course, if I was wearing my uniform like this, they would have been apprehensive around me. But, you were asking me about, what kind of knowledge you want to know before you go into that sort of situation.
Yeah.
And honestly, it helps to know what they know. So literally, you're going to hear, hey, they fought for slavery. The Confederates fought for slavery narrative. And that's very stereotypical. So like, it goes against what they supposedly stand for, not stereotyping people. In Texas, we're 65%, or San Antonio specifically, we're 65% Hispanic. So that means everyone non-Hispanic is literally the minority here. And, it's not viewed like that. So when you know demographics and things like that, it helps you. It really does. Knowing certain people people that, you know, they say, oh, Confederates fought for slavery. Well, not this person specifically, and not this person specifically. This person was an abolitionist. Like, this person, you know, was a democratic socialist. It's like, what? There was a democratic socialist Confederate? What? You know, and he was probably the pioneer of Antifa. And literally, like, you there's a monument that these Antifa goons, they go up and they christen it with their anarcho-socialism flags. And it's like, guys, that's a Confederate monument that you're, you know, honoring. So when you know these things, it really does help destroy their narrative. It flips it on its head.
So, I mean, it's basically, you know, Sun Tzu said, know your enemy, you know.
For sure. For sure. And, you know, I came across, speaking of this guy in particular, Albert Parsons, his wife was the first person to use the raised fist as a logo for her organization. So, like, literally, I was like, hey, you know, I came over here to, you know, take you seriously and listen to you, because honestly, like, their perspective is true and honest, just like our perspective is true and honest. That's what we believe. We're both coming together with what we believe, and that's where the conflict happens. So, you know, I was like, hey, if you want to de-Confederate, you know, everywhere in Texas, you might want to de-Confederate your organization, because you have these raised fists all over everything. And that it tells you that, like, hey, if you don't know your own history of your own symbolism, how do you know my history? Right?
That's awesome, man.
You know,
that's awesome.
That's where you have to hit them, you know, and like, then they're flying, you know, the old glory and thing, other flags that, like, actually there was a lot of persecution under those flags as well. And I was like, literally, your hypocrisy is it makes me uncomfortable. And all they had to say was, oh, well, you're over there with white supremacists. And it's like, actually, these are very outstanding members of the community. Like, you're really just generalizing these people. And, you know, being down in Texas, like I say, closer to the border we are, the more densely Hispanic we are. And the crazy thing is like, they take down all of these Confederate monuments. And I say, well, what about the Hispanic Confederates that have statues? And no one ever protests them. When they say, we're going to change the name of that school, the community comes together and says, no, you're not. You know, and it's really strange to have, you know, one ethnic group overlooked for, you know, their contributions to the Confederacy, while they focus on another group and really exploit us to the negative. It's really a crying shame, you know. And I told these people, I said, hey, you know, if you want to go hear what they're having to say, go up there. And, you know, they oh, I don't want to go over there. I'm like, no, seriously, like, you can go over there. You need to go hear what they have to say. So, I mean, again, know your enemy. Sun Tzu, like you said, it really helps out. And no, where was I going with this?
you got to study these guys. You got to know where they're coming from, and that's the only way you can fight them, is if you know their talking points. You know what they're, and I highly suggest that you read up on these people that are out there doing this. Read up on Antifa. Read up on BLM. Read up on all these left-wing people that are out there. You know, if you don't know who your enemy is and you don't know what they're going to say, then you are not going out there and screaming and calling somebody a neo-Marxist ain't going to get it done. No. It's just not. You got to use this, man. You got to use that. I highly believe that. So I want to talk about your show that you do, or your news program that you guys do. I know the Alamo City Guards. You're one of the first people I ever saw doing something online, and I was like, man, this guy he's tapped into something. And we immediately, once we started doing this, I sent the video over to GCB, and I know he reached out to you, and you guys got back with us. And you've been, like, I know you're behind the scenes clearing out trolls and taking care of that stuff for us. But let's talk about what you're doing in Texas, and how the Alamo City Guards were one of the first to lead the charge on our social media blitz, is what I like to call it, because that's where we're at now. We're doing a social media blitz. So you guys were a pioneer in this, and go ahead and tell the audience about that, so they know where to go to see it. They know how to get a hold of you, and they can help out. So,
for sure, absolutely. So basically, what happened was we decided we wanted to take it to the next level. We thought that, like, doing the newsletters was one thing, and it was getting to a certain group, of the people that like to read, and flip through a magazine and whatnot. And talking to GCB, he was like, people didn't read our newsletter, so it kind of backed away from it. And I'm like, yeah, I totally get that. And it's important to, like I say, reach the younger generation, and they are so engrossed with the phone. You literally have to give them videos that capture their attention. And one thing we did was we used this platform to be able to let people know what was going on, let them know when the next meeting was, and we would take time to go look up some historic character that no one probably knows about. Like, I was like, hey, what's this lake? Mitchell Lake. What's Mitchell Lake in San Antonio? And I looked it up, and it turns out it was named after Asa Mitchell, who was one of the pioneers to Texas when Texas was, getting its independence from Mexico. So, and it turns out that, like, he was one of the he took care of the food bank. He did a lot of things in San Antonio that were important during the time of secession. All of his sons, Hiram and everyone, were Confederate soldiers. So a lot of the things that they removed our monument from Travis Park. I believe the UDC is still in a battle trying to fight to get it back from them. The city destroyed its time capsule, and it was really a heinous time. And
wow.
Like I say, when you look at the demographic shift of San Antonio, you that's really why we saw the difference between, like, the people that wanted it removed versus the people that wanted it preserved. Like, there was already this demographic shift. So we lost that, but they took that down. I'm hoping that they can get it back and get it put back. That's the goal. That's definitely the goal. But there are so many other Confederate sites and symbols and things throughout our 300-year-old city that people really don't know exist. So we've got a whole list of them. I would like to literally talk about every single, like, Robert E. Lee, the biggest thing that he was upset about having to evacuate Texas, at the secession, was Tex-Mex. Oh, dude, he was like, "Tear, I gotta leave the Tex-Mex."
Right.
No. I've lived in Texas my whole life, and I've been all over the United States, and it's like I've tried Nashville guys. Like, I was super disappointed in the Tex-Mex. I was like, chorizo and egg, dude. Like, oh no, guys, you didn't do this to me. And like, yeah, I got back home and I like gorged on Tex-Mex. But yeah, definitely come to San Antonio, eat that Tex-Mex. But doing the newsletters, doing the video newsletters is super important to reach people. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and you've got to be dedicated to it. You have to want to do it. One of the things that me and GCB were talking about initially was, like, do it, just keep doing what you're doing, because each time it gets better and better and better. You can go to alamocityguards.com and look up our videos and go back to the first video. I believe it was December 2019. And you could see, like, the green screen behind, like a silhouette around me. And so each time we kept getting better and better. YouTube, Google, like, if you don't know how to do something, you can Google it and you can figure out how to do it. Like, there is nothing we can't do.
That's exactly right, man. And then we were talking before the show. The SCV, we said it, is behind the 8 ball on social media. We really are. We're way behind the curve on this, and it's guys like us, guys like you, that are out there, and we're leading the charge on this. And this is why these are so important. One of our videos got 10,000 views. 10,000 views. That's a huge number. You guys like it or not, there's 10,000 people out there that saw this video. That's big for us. That's how we get out. That's how we get out in the community. The SCV is it almost seemed like a secret organization when I first joined. Nobody talked about it. Nobody was out there. You didn't hear a whole lot about it. Well, we're here and we're not going anywhere. And that, we talk about monuments, and now I'm going to get into something that has really, really, really bothered me this week. Christian, I know I told you about this, and we were so you're prepared to talk about it. This week, the leftist mob in Atlanta took down the Lion of Atlanta. This monument's been here since 1894. It is to honor 3,000 dead Confederate soldiers, unknown Confederate soldiers that are buried right there. They're buried right there. Let's not make any mistakes. This is not in a city square. This is not at a courthouse. This is not in a museum. This is in a cemetery. Ladies and gentlemen, they are taking down headstones in Atlanta, Georgia, because we have let the leftist mob decide what we can do with it. This is disgusting. It is something that boils my blood, absolutely. And I made a post, and I'm going to say this: in 150 years, is some leftist nut job going to come to a cemetery and make us take down the Afghanistan memorials for our Afghanistan dead or our Iraqi dead that died in those battlefields because they don't believe in the cause in which we fought it for? Let me tell you something. That's not going to happen on my watch. It just makes me so angry. And what do we do about it? What do we do about it? It happens in the middle of the night with these elected officials. They go in and they vote for these things. What kind of sick SOB votes to take down a headstone? Well, who does that? You are no better, and I'm going to call them what they really are. You're no better than the goddamn Nazis in Germany. That's exactly what it is. It is disgusting. Who does that? I watched a thing on Nazis. They took down headstones of the Jewish people in Germany, and they paved roads with them. Made roads out of the headstones. This is on the same level as that. Taking this down, throwing it in storage. The Smithsonian, I believe, said it was one of the most important pieces of art ever carved in Georgia. And they have taken it down, and they're going to put it in storage. You know what that means? That means we're never going to see it again.
Right.
That's exactly
same with the Travis Park Monument. Same exact identical thing. And, we've been in a battle with the Alamo Cenotaph. They wanted to move it, to preserve it. And, that was when the height of the move the monuments craze was going on. And we had a lot of people come together and say, no, that is where the Alamo defenders bled and died, and they didn't even get a Christian burial. They were piled up and lit on fire. They were stripped of their clothes and burned. And that brings me to another thing. It's not on the background here of San Antonio, but we have this giant orange sculpture, which they say is the Torch of Friendship. And it's literally within viewing distance of where one of these funeral pyres was. And it was donated by the Mexican government and the Mexican consulate. And I would think a giant torch should be nowhere near the Alamo. And you bring this up with, your city council and things like that. And they look at you like you're a joke. And it's just like, hey, literally the Alamo descendants, they're like, hey, we get that. And it's kind of offensive. You might want to move it. They won't do it. What's another one of these monuments that they want to take down? And I know that it was based after the Lion of Lucerne, the one in Georgia.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it was taken out of a cemetery, as you say. So same thing in Dallas. There's the Pioneer Cemetery Monument. It's in a cemetery, and they take it to, like, what's going to stop them from actually removing the headstones and digging up the Confederate bodies? Like, it's not going to stop.
Yeah,
that's the first step.
Yeah. What's the next step? Are they, that's what I said. Are you going to go dig up their bones and just throw them into a landfill? I mean, that's where we're at now. They know no end. It is. I mean, it really is. You're right. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. Moose, man, I want to hear your thoughts. You're younger generation. What do you think about this, buddy?
One of the things I hear the most when I discuss keeping monuments in its current location is, and they use it, and they use this argument well, or they did it my university, is that, well, if we put it in a cemetery, and I always call them tombstones to the veterans that never came home. I call it the tombstones to everybody that we lost, as everybody I've talked about, and I think Connor's talked about on the show a couple times. The University Gray suffered, I think, 100% casualties off the top of my head. It was a very high percentage of casualties, almost completely wiped out or completely wiped out. And so the monument on campus was not dedicated to Lafayette people, but it was dedicated specifically to everybody on the university that went and fought and died. And so they always use that argument with me, well, if it's a tombstone, put it in the cemetery. Well, this past year we saw they don't care. They don't want to compromise. And I know compromise is a dirty word because we've been told to compromise over and over and over again, and we get stabbed in the back. But we've been told to compromise and just move everything into a museum. If you want to honor them as that is a tombstone, that is their legacy. Put it in a cemetery where they are, and it's almost a pretty good argument if I didn't just hate seeing monuments move. But as
you didn't just see the line of Atlanta tells you exactly all you need to know about put it in a cemetery.
And that's what I was just about to get at. And it makes my skin boil. It makes my blood boil because they're telling us over and over again, just moving cemeteries. Well, this past year, they're attacking cemeteries. They're spray painting tombstones. They're knocking over the tombstones. They're taking the tombstones and like destroying them, or even worse, you putting them on a place where they can dishonor them daily. And then like with the line of the Confederacy, I didn't know about it. I have since getting back from my trip, I've been slowly getting back into everything, so I haven't fully got back online yet. And I mean, I was scrolling through the page, and my phone kept blowing up because the Candyman posted about this. So I checked out what he posted, and I read it, and I couldn't believe it. This is legit a monument dedicated to 3,000 Confederate soldiers who are unknown only to God. And we put it there to honor them. That is their tombstone. That is their only identifying marker in that whole cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And they go in the middle of the night and they take it away.
Yeah. Not only to mention, it cost the city of Atlanta $30,000. $30,000. Now, I've been to Atlanta. Your city is a crap hole.
Yeah.
Right? It is a cesspool of garbage and destruction, and you spent $30,000 to remove a headstone when you should be spending $30,000 on your homeless problem.
Yeah,
or your veteran problem, or any other problem that you got in Atlanta.
Agreed.
Like the crime.
Yes. Another great example.
You got off easy. 30,000. 30,000. Travis Park, they spent 350,000, and they still broke some of it. Like, they got off easy. That kind of scares me for the Lion of Atlanta. Only 30,000.
Oh no! It gets worse. New Orleans spent in the millions to get rid of all theirs, and the funny thing is, I can't remember where I read it, but exactly it cost the same much to put flood prevention systems in place, and then like a couple months later, New Orleans flooded, and they said the cost to repair it and to put in the new things was the exact amount they spent on the millions of dollars they spent removing the monuments. You're not.
Let me just say that. Let me say this real quick. Understand that the only way, and Linda Gramlin hit the nail on the head. You have to go to the polls and vote, and you have to vote them out of office. You have to.
Amen.
My biggest problem is you got to find somebody to vote for anymore, because lately both sides are both garbage. I mean, Republicans are garbage and friggin' Democrats are garbage. They're both just garbage people. And there's no way, Vinny, I'm running for office. I don't have a political bone in my body. There's just no way. I couldn't do it. I would end up beating the crap out of some. You remember who was the guy that beat the dude with the cane? And
I
war.
just read an article about him last night.
You know what I'm talking, man. It just, I know somebody out there knows, but that's how I'd be. I'd probably beat somebody with a cane. But this is your tax money. They're spending your money on this, and that is, if that's not theft, I don't know what is.
Correct. Like they spend all that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. Let Christian go ahead.
Well, they'll spend the taxpayer money to remove these monuments instead of making other monuments, which would help us with our roadmap, our historic roadmap. Like literally, at the rally, you had the opposition. They were screaming about how men like those guys over there. They had choice words, of course, but they were saying how men like those would come over 30 years ago, and they would have done things to them on the other side. And I'm like, yeah, you kind of made yourself redundant, because look at how far we've come. These guys haven't come over there and done anything. Like, you got to understand, like these are roadmaps, and once you start taking away the pieces, people aren't going to know where they're from, and know where they come from. The men that bled and died for them to be here, and like literally, let's keep our roadmap strong. And when they want to, the whole thing is contextualizing and whatnot, putting up these really ugly messages about what this monument means or doesn't mean. And it's literally like they want to call, they say it all the time, the lost cause myth. Lost cause this, lost cause that is a myth. You know what? Maybe it's a myth, but from me being in the South, it's a perspective. Like literally, there's so many different perspectives to look at things, the occurrences, everything that happened. Like literally, there are multiple perspectives, and it doesn't mean that my perspective's wrong. Like it's just a fact, you know. And we've got to. That's what's great about the SCV, is that we are trying to help preserve the history. Doing things like this, Monday night's SCV chat, you talk about history and you talk about these things. And if these videos can be on permanently, these are your new Confederate monuments. These are your 21st century Confederate monuments, because you're teaching history and you're helping pass this down to the next generation. Like SCV chat and a Look Around the Confederation. These are great programs, and everyone just needs to support, share, whatever group you're part of, make sure you get this video shared. Because literally we were reaching close to 250,000 people a month, 250,000 people a month. And now we are reaching maybe 1% of that. So it's a constant battle with, like, say, Facebook, and we've got to get the best websites. Like if we could get our own social media system where, we can correspond and everything, like a legit, that would be really helpful to avoid all these trolls. And I'm sure someone's tried to do this once upon a time. We need to find those people. We need to get those people back. And there are people that were ahead of their time. And hey, guys, like if you're out there, SCV members, like get hooked up with these guys, get hooked up with the Alamo City Guards. Let's move forward. Let's push the envelope as far as we can, because, we come from great men. We come from amazing pioneers. And all of our ancestors are immigrants. Like, let's make this happen for those people, the reason we're here. And we can't let them forget. Guys, share this. Like I say, get this out to as many people as you can. Make your own videos, get inspired. Even if you're reading just something out of a textbook, teach people the videos that people scroll through. They're scrolling through every day looking for something, and you might grab them. And you've got resources like myself, the guys from SCV chat, just hit them up. We're all super friendly. Let's get you on the level. I think that would be great to get as many camps as possible on the level, just so we can do SCV chat Texas division, SCV chat, just all over the different divisions. And then, you come together and, you would have so many people to choose from. It's like, hey, we're going to have this guy on this week and this guy on this week to talk about all the issues. Like it's growing, guys. Like what is happening now is amazing.
Yeah. And it's growing. We got guys like you out there. And that's something me, Moose, GCB, we've all talked about. Hey, we want to see this in every division. We want to see this in every state in the union, every single state. We want to see have something like this. Every camp have something like this. If you guys get out there, I mean, it's not that hard, really. Like you said, you can Google how to do anything anymore, and it'll teach you how to do it. I'm taking an online course on how to do bigger, better podcast. I would love to have these on an Apple channel or Amazon or one of the book channel. Any one of those apps would be great. And I would love to see one day for us to actually create our own app. Listen, if you know how to create an app, reach out to us. Yeah. Oh, does he? Let's get this. Let's get this started, man. Let's and let me know how I can help in any way. I'm not super technologically advanced, but brother, I can learn to do anything.
Of course, there's so much content being created just literally with you guys, the things we're creating. Eventually we're going to be able to run our own 24/7 channel. Like that is going to be phenomenal. We've been doing movie nights. And that's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. We threw in the forest reinterments in our last. We're trying to help Victory Flags and More get the shirts sold and everything. We had a spaceman from the future come in and say, hey, we've got Confederate monuments in our future. And this is how you can make sure you have Confederate monuments in your future. And and make sure you pay your SCV dues and all that. I mean, we do a lot of zany stuff that hopefully draws in younger folks, but it basically our demographic is anywhere from 35 to 65 and up. All of that range. Those are our biggest supporters. We maybe reach a few younger people, and that's okay. But we have to have our older gen. Like that is without a doubt. Like they are the most important. Without them, there is no us. The younger guys like Harrison, he's going to college. Like he's only going to be able to do as much as he possibly can, in regards to what's going on now. So it's having the support of all of the especially the people that have been in the SCV the longest, with their guidance and their support, these sort of things are going to go far. Artists, musicians. I mean, there came a time like Dimebag Daryl and from Pantera and Lemmy from Motorhead. Like these guys, they were rocking the Confederate flags, and Billy Idol, even up to Avenged Sevenfold with who is a Sinister Gates. He had his rebel flag guitar. Zach Wilde. Like these guys, literally, if there was any negative power in that flag, that generation destroyed it. They took the power, the any wicked power that could have possibly been in that flag, they took it for the rebels. We said this flag means rebellion. And I was talking about the raised fist and what it meant to those people. It was great because one of the women there, they were like, well, that's the funny thing about symbolism, right? Because a symbol can be adopted by people and its meaning change over time. And I said, oh, you mean like that flag over there? So I mean, we gotta let people know that, like, we're the great people. Everyone I've met going to Texas Division reunion, the greatest people I have ever met are in this organization, and
Yeah,
society
absolutely.
just needs to give them a chance.
Yeah, and that was the premise behind SCV Chat. Hey, let's show the real side of who we are, what we do. We're not a bunch of white supremacists that they would have you believe that we're sitting around talking about how we can bring down other races. That's not who we are, man. We love history. We love to have a good time. We love to be with our brothers and our sisters and our friends and our family. We like to talk and we like to discuss things that are going on. We're normal, everyday people, just like you. We are. We're just like everybody else out there, except we have a extreme passion for being Southern. There's, like I say every week, there's nothing wrong with being Southern. Nothing. And Southern means so many things now. It's so many things. It's such a diverse thing to be Southern anymore.
I tried to tell them, like I said, go talk to these people. Like you're apprehensive about going and talking to these people. I'll go over there with you. Let me show you how passionate these people are. Ask them about their Confederate ancestor. Hey, Moose, tell me about your Confederate ancestor. Oh, we start spilling it, you know, like.
Yeah, Moose, that was
Actually, like as soon as I realized it, I was like, it's been quiet for a bit now. I think I'm just going to
college is rough on you, huh?
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I've actually think I've gotten dumber in college than I have. I used to do a lot more war between the state history before college, and like ever since I got into college, I was like, I couldn't tell you half the stuff I could tell you in high school about the war.
Well, tell us about your Confederate ancestor, Moose.
Oh, I think one of my favorites is S.O. Dawes, and he's my direct line. I mean, just me and my father have been exploring all the battles that our ancestors have been in, and we've been going and finding the generals they served under, and taking pictures and documenting all the things they did. And I give my father all the credit for sticking through all the research, because he's been doing this SCV stuff, and of course looking into our ancestry since I was a baby. So he's legit been doing this for 20 plus years. And I mean, the other night he came up to me and he showed me this awesome guy, and I can't remember the ancestor's name off the top of my head, but he had this amazing beard. I mean, and I looked at my father and I said, why is everybody in our family hogging the good beards? Why can I not get a good beard? I model my beard more after Jeremiah Gage. He's a university gray. He can only grow. There's a picture of him that has a beard like down to here, but it's only right here. That's all I got. But you know, finding out these answers and going to the battlefields. Me and my father also started this during COVID. We went to battlefields and figured out where our ancestor was most likely standing, and stood there and just soaked it in for a minute. And I mean, it's beautiful, and I love my father for doing all this work. So more likely I don't have to, but also to the fact that I can just enjoy his hard work in this, and I get to know any and all my ancestors from my Dawes family line, my other family lines, and just enjoy it.
I think you hit it on a nail on the head when you said love. Like, it's about love. We don't honor our Confederate ancestors because we hate someone else. We honor them because we love our family. Like, it's literally about love and the passion that, like, when I ask Candyman, I'm like, you tell me about your ancestor, like, he's going to get as passionate too. Yeah. And like, they don't realize, like, what is it? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness isn't like learning about our Confederate ancestors. Go past that, even further back. Our patriot ancestors who fought the British, like, we love that, and it brings us joy and happiness. And what they're doing is infringing on that by tearing down our monuments and literally just disparaging us constantly.
You know, and you said something earlier, Christian, that I really liked. Why are you tearing down monuments when you should be erecting monuments to your ancestors? Why aren't you guys out there doing that? Why aren't you raising monuments to your ancestors? Why aren't you raising monuments at all? I mean, we're not going to stop you if you raise the money and get it legally put up like our ancestors did with our monuments. They raised the money. The UDC ladies sat around and they sewed or they sold baked goods and raised all that money, and that's how those monuments got put up. For someone to think that they were like that, these little old ladies were sitting around going, hey, you know what? Let's get together and suppress those other colors, the other colored people, the people that aren't the same as us. Let's put up a statue because that'll make them feel bad. Who in their right mind thinks that? You're a crazy person if you think that. You're absolutely insane if you think that's what happened.
Like it's just like, if you really think about it, it's like, were they even thinking about them to begin with? Like how do you even think that they had you in mind at all? You know, if everything you say is true, they wouldn't have thought of you at all. You know?
Yeah, that's it's nuts, man. I mean, any normal thinking person can see that argument is asinine. It's an asinine argument. That's all I can say about it.
But apparently, I go to a place of higher learning where we're all supposed to be expanding our minds, and sometimes I feel like I'm surrounded by idiots. And I tell people all the time, I know I'm not the smartest man in the room.
Blinders.
I never.
Blinders.
Like some of the arguments I hear, I kind of just sit there. And like, I don't go out of my way to fight people, but people notice some of my stuff. I have a University Grays hat I wear, or even Colonel Reb. I mean, I wear all the Ole Miss stuff I wear now has Colonel Reb on it because the university has had it up. I've had it up to here with them, so I just support my Ole Miss in my heart. So I only wear Ole Miss stuff with Colonel Reb on. You wouldn't believe the arguments I've gotten into.
Oh, I can believe it. I absolutely believe it. But listen, we've been doing this for an hour. This has been the longest look around the Confederation we've done.
Personally, it's my favorite episode.
Christian, man, I'd love to have you on some more. This is absolutely amazing. It's been a great talk. Listen, if you're out in Georgia, please start writing the Atlanta City Council or whoever took this down. The more letters they get, the more emails they get, the more. And listen, don't be hateful. Don't be hateful. It's not going to get anything accomplished. Do let them know that you are a voting, tax-paying member of the community, and that you will do whatever you can in your legal power to get them voted out of office because of this. These people don't care about anything but the next election. That's all they care about. And if you show them that you got a strong enough backing to get rid of them, they'll start listening to you. So the only way you can do that is start small. It's got to be small in your home community. Mm-hmm. The change starts right here. You're not going to change anything in DC. It's that's a lost cause. DC's a lost cause. The only way you're going to fix things is by starting right here at home. That's the only way you're going to get things done. Christian, man, I want to thank you so much for coming on tonight. I appreciate what the Alamo City Guards are doing. As Paul and Linda talk highly about you guys.
They're the best.
Yeah. And listen, guys, go check out alamocityguards.com. Reach out to Christian and his guys. They're doing great things in Texas. We're going to have them on the show more often. I can guarantee you that. Christian, you'll be a regular guest, man. If I don't, please, Thank brother, you. I would love to have you on as much as possible. If you missed the show, please go back and watch it.
Share it.
Share it. Yes. Share.
This is probably, I would say, personally, my favorite episode we've ever done. And I think one of the best. It definitely ranks up there for Look Around the Confederation. So, again, thank you for coming on, Kristen. And, get involved in your communities. We have to change the way they look at us.
Go ahead. I want you to have some final thoughts for the crowd. I'll let you talk to the community, and then we'll let you go, brother. But I appreciate everything. Thank you so much. So without further ado, go ahead, brother. Say what you got to say to the rest of them, and then we'll let you go.
All right, everybody. My name is Christian Lee, And if you need anything, you can always reach me at alamocityguards.com. If you have any questions, like I will answer them gladly. Let's get everyone on the same level. If you've got a camp and you've got a camera with a computer, like we can get you going just like these guys are doing. And the more content we're creating, the more we're going to be able to reach people. And let's do this for our ancestors, guys. Let's keep them in our hearts. And I will see you next time. Thank you guys so much. Like, y'all are amazing.
Oh, thanks you.
Christian. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
Thank you.
Hey, man, that was awesome. So final thoughts. I want to share something. Upcoming events. I'm going to start talking about reenactments that are coming up. If you guys know of any upcoming reenactments or living history events in your area, please send the info to scvyouthoutreach@gmail.com. The one I want to talk about is coming up. The Battle of Stones River. I will be there. I know a couple of other camps in Tennessee are going to, camp members in Tennessee are going to be going. And that is October 22nd through the 21st in Lebanon, Tennessee. Make sure you go to the website. It's www.stonesriver2021.com. You can register for the event there. Hey, if you're a reenactor, this is something you don't want to miss. I think this is the first one they've done in a long time for the Battle of Stones River. When I first got into reenacting or living history, I went to I started at the national park at Stones River. So Stones River is kind of close to my heart. I'll be out there. Don't shoot me, guys. I do reenact with a blue unit. They are the 9th Kentucky, and I love those guys. It's all a bunch of Army. We're represented by every branch in the military. I got involved with those guys because they were at Stones River, and that's the first ones I ever did with. And I really do love them a lot, even though they do wear blue. But we can't have historical reenactments without guys in blue. And Confederate guys need somebody to shoot at. So I'll be happy to die for you. So actually, that's my favorite thing to do when I wear blue is to walk out on the field and become a dead Yankee. Because nothing honors your Confederate ancestors like being a dead Yankee. So
nothing honors the ancestors. Like, yes, that I remember one of my favorite stories is crying when my father told me I had to be a Union out of monkey one day. And because like
at
that point I've always been Confederate. So I remember I remember crying when my father told me I had to be a Union. Yeah,
and Linda, I saw you put on there fall muster at Beauvoir. We will be talking about that on upcoming episodes. We got that next week. We usually play a commercial. Did you get that commercial loaded? Can we do that one before we go? I'd like to end with that one.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I'm so ecstatic because I worked on it for all of the episode, thinking, "Crap, I'm not going to be able to get it to work."
But we got it up. All
yes,
right, so let's play that, and then we'll come back on. We'll say goodbye to everybody, and we'll call it an evening. So go ahead, without further ado, roll that beautiful beam footage.
My dad told me he always had a kinship to the battle flag. Always growing up, he knew there was something there, but he couldn't put it together. I called my 97-year-old grandmother, and I asked her, do we have any soldiers in the family? I gave her 3 descriptions. Verde, which means green, for modern-day soldier. Blue, azul, or gris, means gray. And she said, mijo, which means my son in Spanish, is gris. It was gray. My great-great-grandfather was named Andres Torres Rodriguez. He was born in Mexico. He was a laborer. And he was an 8th Texas Infantry. And his unit later on got incorporated to the Texas 33rd Cavalry under Santos Benavides, who was the highest Mexican-American Confederate officer. He was a colonel. There was over 13,000 Hispanic soldiers throughout the Confederate States, but out of those 13,000 were 2,500 Tejanos. And it's 2 words combined, Texas in Spanish is Tejas. Mexican in Spanish, Mexicano. You combine both words, Tejano. They contributed a lot for Southern independence. I think that they deserve respect, honor, and dignity under the Confederate flag that they fought for. There was people of color, Mexican people, and other Hispanics, and other people of color that fought in this war. Everyone's reason was different, but primarily they fought in this war for their independence and to protect their homeland. I joined the SCV because I'm extremely proud of my Confederate heritage. I have Confederate DNA. I just want to ensure that the present generation and future generations know and never forget the contributions of Hispanics in the War of Northern Aggression. I am Richard Luna Garcia, the great-great-grandson of Private Andres Torres Rodriguez, a Tejano Confederate soldier.
By far one of my favorite SCV videos that we do. Christian, thank you for coming on tonight. It was an honor and a privilege to have you on. I'm so happy that we got to do that tonight.
Yes.
Chat heads, we love you guys. We cannot wait to see y'all on Friday the 17th, the night before the interment. I'm really looking forward to sitting down and having a dinner with you guys. It's going to be an outstanding evening. So Moose, how do you think the show went tonight, buddy?
Oh, again, I believe this is the best show we've done. This is personally my favorite show. I mean, just going into what all we talking about how we all believe that this can grow into something so much better, and the future of the SCV and the future of how we can all get involved. And I believe fully in everything we said. I think all three of us gave a different response to what to do in these situations. And I think all three, you need to do all three. I think you need to get involved in your community. I think you need to become, you could run for politics like Matt. You can be respectful and study.
Preston Brooks.
Yes. Yeah, I'll buy you some canes. And you can go out of your way and talk to these people and be respectful, be nice. Don't let them get under your skin. And become a person in your community. Let your camp become a pillar of the community. We have been slandered in media since about early 2000s, when I think personally that this attack on Confederate history started. And for 20 years, they've just been telling people we're just the old white supremacists that go into our garages and wave a battle flag around. And we need to show these people, no, we just are someone that love our families and are patriotic about the South. We're not these evil people that plan the demise of other races. We're so far different from that. We invite everybody, and I mean everybody, to our meetings and to learn history and to learn about the real Confederacy. We just watched a great video discussing that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, it's been a great show. Let's go ahead and call it a night. I'm going to end as I always do. Remember, chat heads, stay Southern, my friends. We'll talk to y'all next week. Same SCV channel, same SCV time. All right.